Okay, so this is going to be lab 6-5, which deals with regression and dashboards in SQL Server and Tableau. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. Okay, so I have Excel open in the UART server. So now I can go ahead and load the data. So we'll go to data, get data from SQL Server. I'll type in this name. And then our database will be the Dillards again. Okay, then we'll expand our advanced options. And then I'll just type in that SQL statement given by the textbook. Okay, that was a longer one. So let's make sure there's no typos. Okay, so that should pull in what we need and then include relationship columns. All right, so now there's our data. So what we want to do next is edit it so we can present it in a better way. So now we're in our Power Query Editor. So now we can click on this column here, transform, and then we'll do pivot column. And then for values, we want to do amount. And then make sure it's on sum. And then okay. All right, so now it's loading it to where we can see returns and purchases by state. So now we can close and load to our Excel. And it'll take a second. Okay, and then we want 298,526, which is what we got. So now here's our data. So we want to save it down so we can use it in Tableau. Perfect. So now we can minimize Excel and then open up Tableau. Okay, so now we can pull our data from Excel. Okay. There we go. So now what we want to do is create a calculated field. And we'll go to sheet 1 and then create our calculated field. We'll name it returns over purchases. And then the formula is going to be so sum of the returns over the sum of purchases. Okay, so that's the formula we want, and then we want to make sure the calculation is valid. And then we can click OK. Okay, so now I added the RP right over here. So now we can start dragging in things. Okay, so now we can see state by state. Let's double click our purchases. So it'll show us purchases per state. And then the larger the bubble, the more purchases it has. So that's how it's shown. We can also show it a different way. Let's see. Okay, so now we can see it by color. So the darker the color, the more purchases. And then we can go ahead and rename this so that we don't get confused. Sales by state. Okay, so now we have sales by state shown. Now, what we're going to do is duplicate this to create a new worksheet. We'll go ahead and rename this one to return percentage by state. And then what we want to do here is we're going to drag out the sum. And then we'll drag in our RP to this color. So now we can see each state by color. So it's color coded. So now we have a couple of different displays here. So we're going to create a new sheet. Go ahead and rename that one. Actually, we don't need to rename that one for now. We can hold off on that. So we'll drag in tran date. We want to drag this into rows. And then we want to expand this until we get to our month. So now we can see month by month, but we don't need these. So I think we can just remove them. So let's see. So we can just drag quarter out and then year. So now it's just showing us months. So now we're going to double click RP. So it's showing us the return over purchases per month. Okay. So now to display it a little differently, we can do highlight tables. And that shows us more of a color coding option. So now we have 3 different displays here. So now we can combine them. We'll create a dashboard. And we can start dragging in all of these displays. All right. And then if we want to make it easily presentable, we can toggle this. Let's see. So now when we click on a state, it'll just show that state. And then it can be kind of a presentation. And it can all go in sync together. So yes, this is how you can create a dashboard to display all of your visuals, and then you can also make it easily presentable. And I believe that concludes lab 6-5. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing, and thank you so much.